Hey everyone, I'm the Chess Nerd. Welcome back to a brand new video. Today, we're going to be discovering my chess personality. Now, I have never done this before, but I do have an idea of what type of player I am. I'm a more aggressive type player. I play very aggressively and I do dubious moves when I attack. So yeah, ruthless attacker, I would say. I do have some positional sense, but less than when I'm attacking. That's just my field. That's what I love best. In a game, I would choose attacking over defense any day. So let's take the quiz. Okay, so number one, which side would you rather play in the following position? Black to move. Okay, so it's black to move, so knight takes d5 here, or bishop takes d5. I really love what the rook has on the e-file, on the king here. Very nice pin. And overall, the space of white is very, very attractive to me. So I would take white any day here. When you play in tournaments, do you usually score with consistent results, or do you often perform on the extremes, either really well or really poorly? I have pretty consistent results. I don't really do very, very good sometimes, but I usually have, 3 out of 5, 3.5 out of 5 in the weekend tournaments. So I'm going to do pretty consistent results. Which best describes how you think about this position in the Sveshnikov Siciliana? I always take white. I play white here. So yeah, this is where the bishop has gone to g5 and has sacked, well, not sacked, but exchanged on the knight on f6. And we have this d5 square for our knight, well planted. Our goal here is to play c4, develop our bishop to e2 and castle short side. So A, black has given up a critical important square on d5. That is true. Our knight is super well planted there and is acting like an octopus right on these other squares. Super good. Black has a lot of potential counterplay with bishop pair and f5 pawn. Yeah, less than black has given up the important square on d5. That's just a certain fact. Which statement is closer to the truth? I bring my best game when facing opponents I dislike. I don't really notice my opponent. I do bring my best. I do both, but I do bring my best game. If it's my opponent, my ultimate rival, I will bring my best game. That's for sure. Black has just played g5 here. Oof, aggressive move. Your first instinct is to, wow, we have a rook on c3. Can we sack? I don't think. No, I would just play bishop g3 here. Yeah, I wouldn't take on g5. I would sack in normal circumstances, but even with the rook here, I don't think there's too much counterplay enough to sack on g5. So I would retreat to g3. Number 6, do you play gambits? Yes. One of my core openings as black is a gambit. It's called the Schliemann's gambit or the Schliemann's defense. So yes, I do play gambits. How would you think about whether or not to take on g5 as white? I would evaluate the placement of the pieces to decide if the attack seemed promising. That's A. I would calculate several variations to decide if white's attack is strong enough. I would evaluate the placement of the pieces, and just by overall look, it doesn't look convincing. So A. 8. Under serious time pressure, you are more likely to miss a tactic, move pieces aimlessly. Oh, B. I would never miss a tactic, even under time pressure. But yes, move pieces aimlessly, kind of. Which of these ideas do you prefer for white? White should trade bishops on c5 and put a strong knight on d4. That's very strong. Yeah, I agree with that. Which will prevent any counterplay from black from doubling rooks on the c-file by defending c2. Yes, also good. White should push d4, temporarily misplacing black's dark squared bishop, and then start an attack on the king side with f5, where the black king sits alone. I would completely do that even better. Yes, so I would create a solid bind here with d4 and e5 and then push f5. That is totally me. Thank you for B. You start the game out with 1d4. You rather your opponent play d5 or f5. f5, just because the Dutch is way worse than d4. And I like the pawn structure for white. So if you do like a Catalan type of style, knight f3, g3, bishop g2, it's better than the other side, so an f5 side, really. So I would prefer f5. You have been ahead of pawn for most of the game, but after tough resistance from your opponent, you have been only 5 minutes left in this position. Ooh, Should you play on or offer your opponent a draw? So, black have a distance pass pawn on a6, and we have a distance pass pawn on h4, right? Well, not passed, a distanced pawn on h4. I would not take the draw here. No, yeah, I would grind for the win. That is just my style. I don't really like taking draws in winning positions. It's not my cup of tea. I usually play for the win, and you know, if I lose on time, then I lose on time, which often happens, let's be honest. But at least I will have tried, so I'll keep pushing for the win. Which statement comes closest to your feelings? It's always a joy to be paired with someone you've crushed in the past. The odds of winning are slightly higher against opponents one has previously beaten. Definitely A. I love to be paired with somebody I just destroy and just expect an attack I'm going to win in. So if it's a guarantee, then just A. With plenty of time on your clock, what would you do in this position? Plenty of time. Okay, black have just played b6. This is my turn. Trade on the e6 and play rook d7. I love that idea. Definitely. So we're gaining the d7 square by trading on e6. Because the endgame is good for white. True, we have the 7th rank. Or B, invest some serious time calculating whether knight takes a6 achieves anything concrete. I would invest some serious time into knight takes e6. I think it's promising if you have the 7th rank, and our king seems to be active, and the rook on e7 would cut off the king temporarily. So I really like that variation. I would go with B here. What do you think of the famous saying, chess is 99% tactics? That is false. I think up to like maybe 1700, chess is a lot of tactics. Definitely, because tactics will get you win, and tactics will prevent you from being played on. But I disagree overall. There is some positional styles, some openings, some middle game skills. For sure, it's a combination of all of that, end games too. How do you feel about this wild gambit line for black? White to move. Oh, I would take that in a second. This actually kind of looks like the Schliemann gambit. So white played queen h5 here, and we played g6, knight takes g6, knight f6, knight takes e8, and attacking the queen. I like my chances, and this would definitely be something I would choose. So B. After losing a game, have you ever broken something or yelled out loud? No, never. That's super weird. White to play in castle. I would castle short just because of this pawn structure. This is like a French defense exchange variation kind of thing. And I just don't like this pawn structure when castling long. It's a bit weird. And this short side attack is not really my thing. So I would say kingside short castle. Which is closer to the truth? I get excited or nervous before a game. I get excited and nervous before a game. I don't worry about prizes, money, titles, or honor while playing. I just play my game. I get excited or nervous before a game. Really nervous too, like adrenaline and everything. I haven't played a classical game in maybe 2 years though, so that is a bit iffy. But in general, I would be really stressed. How would you come up with a plan in this position as white? Consider the strengths and weaknesses of black in the position and decide where my pieces feel best. Yes, I would do that. I would calculate some lines for white to see how strong various possibilities are. Now, I would just consider my strengths and weaknesses. So obviously we have a bad bishop here. Black lets go of this valuable e5 square when pushing f5. Where is my d2 knight going to land on? Maybe f1, e3. So I would consider the strengths and weaknesses of the black position. Which is harder for you to do? Identify my advantages and building a plan. That is very not hard for me to do. Trade a good position for a strong attack. Well, this one I have near perfectly. I do know from experience. I know I'm very good at self-identifying my position, a very important skill in chess. So I think it would be maybe B, but I still get that pretty good. So I am the magician. Magicians don't care too much if their play is objectively correct. They prefer to follow their intuition and fancy, creating complications and confusing their opponent. That is me, point blank. Wow. A magician sees chess as creative art, and creative art cannot be held captive by stern and fixed principles. I do think that you have to tweak some principles in chess that are very hard on to be more creative. So yeah, don't let chess principles, narrow you down in your thoughts. Magicians can calculate well, but they sometimes do so quickly and carelessly, using their calculation to support what their intuition tells them. So yeah, I have a very, very strong intuition in chess. It's probably my most valuable skill. I am super intuitive, and intuition plus tactics is very, very important, and that's where I get the skill maybe. Magicians can enjoy the unusual and spectacular, and can often become bored by slowly maneuvering. I once lost a classical game, and it was a very positional game. And when the old man asked me, I was like maybe 12 at the time, when the old man asked me how did I lose or why did I lose, I said because the game was super boring. Like I just remember being super bored by that game, and I think that let go of my ambition to win. And my tactical skills, of course. So yeah, Mikhail Tal is a magician. Mikhail Tal, 1936 to 1992, the 8th world champion, was known as the Magician of Riga. Of course, I know who Mikhail Tal is. Very, very brilliant player and the greatest attacker of all time. This is a big compliment to me, so I'll take it any day. Tal was famous for his unpredictable, intuitive sacrifices, many of which were scarcely believable. Yeah, some of which were just flat out wrong also, so that's crazy. Nevertheless, he set so many traps and problems for his opponents that they often worked in practice. Indeed, he once said there are two types of sacrifices, the correct ones and mine. I knew the rest of the quote, that's why I looked at you guys. His play was all about creating complications and unusual situations. Although he sought sharp, crazy positions, he typically didn't outcalculate his opponents, but rather out-imagine them. So he was playing from Mars while his opponents were playing from planet Earth. So yeah. Attacking, I'm a bit more attacking than positional. Aggressive, more aggressive than solid. And intuitive, a bit more intuitive than calculating. Emotional, more emotional than calm. Re Lopez, recommended opening. I don't like the Re. I like the Gioco Piano much better. Just I play it really well, and the Re can get really boring and positional and closed up in some of the lines. With black, Siciliana defense and the King's Indian. The King's Indian, I actually bought a book. I should say that we're gonna unbox a book soon. Several books on one legendary grandmaster, and one book is about the King's Indian. I'm planning to learn that opening. I'm really excited about it. So, and the Sicilian, I've started to play a bit of it, but I still play e4, e5. It's still very aggressive opening. I love it. So yeah, that is my chess personality. I am a magician. Let's see the other ones. Mastermind, natural, prodigy, professional, romantic, surgeon. Wow. Surgeon, super positional. Super positional, like Capablanca style. Technician. Ooh. Okay. Anaconda. That's crazy. There are so many types. Assassin. Oh my god, I actually got Mikhail Tal. It's the best one. Barbarian. Champion. Escape artist. Wow. There are so many. Genius. Capablanca is a genius. Grinder. Yeah. Karpov would play very long games and tense games, and he would grind out his opponents. Mad scientist. Wilhelm Steinitz. And of course the magician. Back to the original. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's getting a bit too long. Sorry about that. Let me know what is yours if you decide to do it. I would love to compare in the comments. Do you judge me for being such an attacking player? It does mean that my games that I show you are more attacking and are more tactical and potentially more fun if that's your type of thing. So just let me know in the comments. Please comment just for the algorithm, and like, and of course subscribe to the YouTube channel. I want to grow to 1,000. We're almost there, soon to be 1,000. Thank you so much for watching, and peace.
Go sub to the Chess Nerd. There we have the channel.